like it's been ages since we spoke. Oh, I know, it's just, I can't believe it's autumn already. But yeah, it's been a bit of a weird time. I'm doing a lot better, thank you for asking. Yeah, who knew a vitamin D deficiency could cause you so much trouble? But yeah, that's why I haven't been able to speak to you in so long. It's been nearly 3 months that I've not been very well. But I feel really, really grateful to be feeling better because, you know, a lot of people are struggling with illness for really, really long periods of time. And I got a really small insight into that, a very, very small insight, and I can tell you it's really, really hard and very, very lonely as well. So yeah, I feel really grateful to be feeling a lot better. So thank you for asking, and for being willing to listen when I've talked about it. And yeah, what am I going to do today on our little art call? Well, I know I've said before that I've been making some refillable sketchbooks. I've been really struggling to work on that obviously, but I'm finally managing to manage a bit of time in my office again. So I thought I would work on actually the sketchbook for myself, because when I first had this idea of making these little sketchbooks, the idea was that I would make one for myself first, but then in the end I got carried away with making them to try and launch them in my shop, and I never made my own, so I've been working on that, because it's really easy to get like carried away and focus on the things you can sell when actually, like, originally it was just meant to be for me at first. So I'm making a bigger one for myself because I often work A4. I don't think I'm going to sell A4 ones in my shop unless people really ask, because I'd have to get even more packaging and stuff to be able to send them. So for now I was going to sell A5 and A6. So I've been doing them in little stages, so I've got a lot of the cardboard. Let me show you, like, I've been doing a lot of like the cardboard preparation. So I've got like the cardboard backs for different sizes, and then what I basically do, this is like one half that I did, I've not done the other half yet. I kind of bind them like you might bind a book cover, so I like glue that and then that on the other side, and then basically I punch holes into it, I put like a ring in it, and then it creates like a refillable like ring binder type thing, a bit like a traveller's sketchbook. They often call it a traveller's notebook. Yeah. And I've got loads of cool papers. But one thing I did think as well is that when I first made one for my friend, I was gonna like cut out windows in them, and I think actually that's really made me get stuck when I'm making them, because it's kind of like every time you're gonna make the window you need to know what drawing you're gonna put in there, you need to know what size it is, and it's actually really hard to cut the windows as well. So I've decided I'm actually just going to like stick a little design on, because I think I've thought of a way I could do it where it will still look nice, and that way it's a bit easier for me. Like, even if it would be better to have the windows, sometimes you've got to prioritize like the process that you can make sustainable, and I think that the process will be easier if I don't pressure myself to do the windows and to have the drawing already, because the drawing bit has been hard because I've not been able to draw much, which has been quite a hard part of this. I've not been able to work on my art. I couldn't read a book for over a month. That was scary. But and then I had vertigo twice. I had vertigo again recently, but thankfully it's cleared up a lot quicker. I think I'll still be on the mend for a while, but at least I can get back into little things, which is really nice. So yeah, this is my one so far. I've done a black cover because I really like black. Actually in my bedroom, which you never really see, I have a black wood bookcase and black wood wardrobes that are like massive. So I really like dark wood. And yeah, I just always feel that like other colours as well really look great against black. Like all my books on my bookshelf look like more vibrant, I think. So anyway, This is as far as I did yesterday. I've not put like a colour on this side yet. I'm not sure which one or what's going to fit. I might just actually, like, because it's just for me, I might just use like a neutral piece of paper rather than, I don't really want to use like one of my nice pieces of paper just for the inside. And these other ones I've got that were a bit cheaper, that kind of does fit actually. I was going to say it doesn't fit, but it kind of does actually. Maybe I'll use that, maybe. I'm going to just cover the other side first though. Yeah, so let me get my glue. So yeah, how have you been? I hope you know that I've been thinking of you and missed you. Yeah, I was a bit sad that, like, I felt like I was just getting going with my comic, like I was really getting there to finish it, and then I've been delayed yet again. But I still feel very, very grateful to have gotten better and that it's not a serious thing. Like, the experience felt hard and serious, but at least the reason wasn't too scary. And long lasting as well. But it is a long time. It's been a long time. It's like I'm both grateful and trying not to, and I'm also trying to be kind to myself and say that it has been hard. Like, it has been hard. And it's like, it's quite easy for, you know, I mean, we were laughing about it, but it's like sometimes my parents were like, it's still early days, like it's only been like, you've only just finished taking the stuff you had to take, and it's only actually been like however many weeks. And I was like, yeah, but like that's to you, like you're right. I think it's like, I imagine that people who are chronically ill really understand this. Like, it might be alright someone saying like, oh, you've only been ill for 6 months. Like, to them that might not seem, but it's like, to them that's their regular life. Like, it's 6 months of their regular life of whatever they do. But for you it's 6 months of feeling really ill and awful. So it's not the same, you know, the perception of time is totally different. It feels like a really long time. And often, like, I'm not that fussed about time. Like I've said before, like, I hardly ever know what day it is sometimes. And, like, I do think, in my regular life, a month doesn't seem very long. Because I just bumble on and I go, okay, I have a massive homebody, which is part of the reason why I got this, because I really, really like being out in nature, but I just really struggle to motivate myself. And then also I was dealing with something that was lowering my motivation, which doesn't help. But I just love so much being out in nature, but I just find it really hard to go out sometimes. And I've gotten back into it a lot actually while being unwell, because it really helped the vertigo. And I've had some really lovely walks, and I've seen a deer a few times, because there's an area near where I live where it's really common to see deer, but like not every time, but like you will probably, at least one of the few times you go past, you will see a deer at some point. And there was one day where I was feeling really, mentally was struggling a lot with it, and I really managed to drag myself out. And as I was walking past this area, I saw a deer, and sorry, is it getting a bit bright in here? I saw a deer, and yeah, saw the deer, and I've said that 12 times now, and it came out onto the road right in front of me, because it's kind of like you're on a bit of a road, and then you're looking, not like a country road, and then you're looking into the woods, and you usually see the deer really in the distance, but it actually started coming towards me, and I was like, oh my gosh, is it gonna step out onto the road? And I was like, no, it won't. But then it actually did, so I saw it really close up, and we just looked at each other, and I stayed really, really still, and then it walked off. And I don't know, there was something about that. I did feel a bit emotional. It just caught me on that day, you know. Like when you're just in a certain mindset and then something happens. And I do think when I go out in nature and when I went out while I've been not very well, it really reminds me that it really reminded me to breathe, and that it made the world feel less tiny. Because, you know, I don't know how to explain it. It just felt like suddenly a roof was lifted off. And I was like, oh, there is still hope in the world. Maybe. And there are still good things that can happen. Because I did get into some quite bad mindsets. Like negative, I mean. Because I do think there's just... I don't want to get onto this, but it's just... there is so much suffering in the world. People are in so much pain, and I just really want to... I thought a lot about like what I want to do with my life, really. And I thought I just want to lessen that in some small way. I think that's why I thought about, you know, calling you, because I just hope that in some small way my videos make people feel comforted, and like they're not on their own. And so like when we speak on the phone, like you don't feel as alone, and you know that I care, and that I'm checking in, and that I'm willing to listen, even though ironically I'm rambling on for England, but I'm just saying, you know, because I don't think people always listen, and it causes a lot of trouble. Communication is a two-way street. People have to be willing to listen for it to work. And people avoid uncomfortable conversations a lot about illness, about grief, about mental troubles, mental illness. And, you know, I always say, this is something I might make a comic about actually at some point when I'm feeling a bit more up to it. I always say, like, you can keep saying just talk to someone, but who is out there that is willing to listen? Because there aren't a lot of people that are. And I think that's an important thing to remember. How did I get onto that? Who knows? Right, so I've glued up this side, and I'm gonna carefully place it on the paper now. So I'm just gonna have to focus for a moment, and just stop talking for a minute. So if you want to tell me about something. What am I doing? Oh yeah, the trouble is, like, this involves a lot of glue, and then the glue gets on the surfaces, and I don't know how to avoid getting glue on things. I'm not very good with things like this. This is why again, I'm trying not to overcomplicate it with windows and such, because I need to keep it simple. So press that down. Yes. As well, I actually, like, with doing a large one, like, I don't really have any paper to replace a large panel, so I've got to get this right. No pressure. Okay. That looks okay. Phew! Also, as well, sometimes it may look like it's buckling a little bit when you first put it on, but it's okay. Like, once you leave it to dry, I tend to leave it to dry, like, under a heavy book, and then it will calm down. My fringe is really long. Have you noticed that? Yeah, I did manage to cut my hair once in the 3 months, because I cut my own hair anyway, but I had to, otherwise, like, it does get to the point where I can't see, and I am slightly getting to that point again, but I just haven't done it again in a while, and it is really long. It's annoying me. But it's quite a long thing, cutting my hair, even though I've got it down to a fine art. I've been cutting my own hair for 5 years, and I do now have a very specific way that I do it, but can still go wrong. Oh, you're having a bit of trouble with a certain area there. Just gonna see if I can smooth it out a bit. The thing with this one is at least it's for me, so it doesn't have to be very good. I just want it to look okay. And if one side isn't great, it can be the back. I think I'm actually just going to do like a really small design on mine, like a little square, and then I can just put loads of stickers on it. Because obviously, like, even with the ones I'm going to hope to sell, I don't want to make the image I put on it massive, because you always want room for stickers. Who wants a sketchbook that doesn't have the room for stickers on it? Okay, now I'm going to do the sides. You do this like little corner like a mouse is eating it. Oh. But it's just been really nice to be back in my office. Like, I actually have Halloween decorations up, but you can't see them from this angle. I do have a clip of them. I can't think of what I can show you. I've got these two little... I was given this by my friend when I was literally like, I was really young, like 10 or something. Like, I still have it, and it's kind of got like two sides. Funky. I think these are called, what are they called, ugly dolls? Yeah, they were like quite collectible. They probably still are, to be fair, but there was a period of time where they were really like, you would see them in all the like fancy shops. This is just a Keel Toys toy. I really like Keel toys, but at the same time I need to not buy them, because you shouldn't buy too many things like this. Well, I'm not saying, actually, I shouldn't say that, because it's okay for things to be joyful, but, you know, over consumerism, etc. But, you know, we all have little things we like. I like Keel toys because when I was a kid, my favourite toy is a Keel toy. And they do make their stuff from recycled bottles as well, which is quite cool. I love teddy bears. I have rabbits as well, because I have a rabbit in there, 2 rabbits, because rabbits are my favourite animal. If you don't know, rabbits and hares. I do have this lovely bear as well, which is Bramwell. This is called Bramwell. I named it Bramwell after the Bronte brother. This was from my nan. I love this bear. I think it's the most lovely thing. That is probably more old, I would say. Right, now do the side. And then I'll have to get my little folder thing out. This one definitely isn't as neat as the other side. I've probably put a bit too much glue on. The glue distribution is hard sometimes, especially on a big piece like this. Where's my little... This is a stone fold rather than a bone fold. It doesn't involve bones. Or plastic. Oh, it makes a lot of noise though. I also don't think this glue is brilliant, but I've said this before, I'm still going to use it, because otherwise I'll never use it and it'll just go to waste, and that just feels wasteful. Because I don't use PVA for a lot of other things, really. I'm definitely being more haphazard with this one. If you see me, you're thinking this isn't very neat. Just bear in mind, this is for me, so I'm being quite haphazard. I'm not so bothered, whereas I'm much more meticulous with the ones that I'm selling, she says. I've not sold any yet though. My shop is open at the moment though, just so you know, if you ever want a peruse. And hopefully there will be more stuff on it soon, now that I'm actually capable of working again. A bit. Still not managing like full days, but you never know, soon I might. I think the biggest thing is wanting to get back to my comic, but it is quite hard for me to work on a screen, and I've actually decided I'm never going to make a digital comic again of that length, because I'm going to make Toast the Machine traditional from now on and just digitally colour it, because the eye strain of working digital just doesn't work with me, and I don't really like the process of digital working, to be honest. I've just realised that. I didn't know that at the time, but I like pencil and paper. I don't like the digital workflow very much. I just get really tired of being on my iPad and stuff. So yeah. But like obviously I've started it digital, so it would be really odd for it to like halfway through the comic for it to turn traditional within the same comic. So yeah. Like, it's inconsistent enough already without me doing that. But I can see the end in sight with that. I've not got that many sections left. And I really do think it won't be really long time before I finish that. If I can get back to it at some point. I'm really determined to get back. Oh, I forgot to fold the corner on that one. Then again, it doesn't. It's only for me. It's only for me. It's okay. You meant to do this little thing where you like tuck the corner in. I forgot then. Getting too distracted by chatting away. Okay. Last side. Yeah, what project would I make after this? Like after Toast the Machine, I'm really, it's going to be something smaller. Definitely make sure I do that. But I don't know. I'm really in between things. I'm also probably going to slightly change how I do my vlogs, because I kind of want to give them a bit more structure and have a bit more fun with them. But I didn't know. Like, obviously I've not had the energy to do loads of extra stuff at the moment, so I have to wait and see what happens with that, really. Are you gonna watch any Halloweeny films? I don't really like horror. I really like spooky. Spooky is so up my street. I don't like horror. Mostly because when I was a kid, I had a lot of issues with nightmares, and watching horror is like fuel to the fire. So I don't tend to watch horror. An underrated film, I think, Paranorman. It's a stop motion film about a kid that can see ghosts, and it's also got zombies in it. I think one of the most underrated Halloweeny films. Right, I'm just gonna put this under in the press, which is under my table. It's not an actual press, it's just books. Oh dear. Yeah, so I really like that film. I don't know why I always really liked Norman, who's the character. I really like ghosts, people who can speak to ghosts. I've always loved stuff about that. Maybe I should write a ghost story. I suppose sometimes because I make sci-fi a lot, it's like, I don't know whether I can deviate, but like, why not? Like, it doesn't always have to be really unified and the same thing all the time, does it? What do you think? I don't know. Sometimes we can worry too much about things being like unified and the same. It doesn't quite fit. I honestly might just use a regular piece of paper. I know that sounds a bit... Ooh, the pink fit's quite nice though. Not usually a fan of pink, but that is quite nice. Ooh. Sorry, my papers nearly fell off the table. All my papers were falling. This is quite nice actually. Although it shows through, which is not as nice. Green. No. I don't like it. I don't like it. Let me look. I actually did a lot of experimentation with papers recently. I've got this plain like A4 that I could put in to just... I mean, that way you could even like draw on it, which is quite fun. I might just make it smaller, a bit smaller. Let's try. I really like a ripped edge, so I often like deliberately try and put those in. Look at me folding it regularly when I could use the bone fold. It seems silly, doesn't it? Glue everywhere. I'm not a fan of mess, which is not always great with being an artist. I have to try and embrace the mess, but I'm not great with it, you know. been talking quite a while, but the thing is I quite like chatting for a while. So, you know, you feel free to ring off whenever. You tell me when it's too long. I'm doing this really badly. I can't, I've said before, straight lines are not my forte. What is that? It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. I'm looking at it anyway. Goodness knows why. Well, it looks okay. It's fine. It works actually. I've started my Merlin rewatch as well. My dad's actually started watching it with me. So that's good motivation because I'll keep... Like, I absolutely love Merlin, but sometimes I get a bit stuck on a rewatch because it's the kind of thing that, like, when you watched it... you know, we've moved past a time now. I really like still watching stuff each week, is what I'm getting at. But a lot of the time things aren't put out like that anymore. Whereas when stuff is, I really like that, and I actually really gravitate towards stuff that comes out each week. Because I think that was a better way to view TV than when they just put it all out at once now, because it like made you slow down through it, and you had something to look forward to every week as well. So I think when I rewatched Merlin, like, if you watch too much of it too quickly, it's just a very different viewing experience to what it was when I was watching it when I was young. And I think you end up, like, not enjoying it as much. So, gotta be careful not to fall into that. But as well, the closer that we get to the end, the worse, because the ending, I'm not trying to spoil it for anyone, but it just feels wrong not to warn how incredibly painful the ending is. And it does go downhill as well, I feel, the quality of the show, unfortunately. But it's still very magical, and it meant a lot to me, and it inspired me a lot. Like, that's one thing I've thought about a lot recently, is like, sometimes I like think, oh, I should make something more serious, because I like to talk about mental health and serious things, and maybe I'm not doing stuff that can do that. But then I'm like, actually, when I remind myself, I'm like, my favourite things in the whole world are things that are like comforting, wholesome, light-hearted, and real. Like, you know, they cover real issues, they talk about real stuff, they get real and poignant. Like, they're a lot of the time my absolute favourite things. And like, I love a bit of angst and a bit of drama, but you can also have that in stuff that's generally light-hearted. Like, Merlin has a lot of angst and drama and sad times, but it's still overall quite comforting and nostalgic and heartwarming, you know. And I think I was reminded of that a lot recently, because I was really, really enjoying stuff that was more on the, like, more on that light-hearted side, rather than you know, the really serious stuff. Because as well, like, it's comforting, isn't it? And I think we sometimes undervalue things that are comforting, I think. Like, but they are what help people get through the day a lot of the time. Like, going back to that show they love, that manga they love, that cartoon, that book, it's a lifeline. I came across a post actually where someone was talking about, like, how they'd mentioned in therapy that, like, Star Trek really helped them get through a tough time, and, like, some of the quotes that really stuck with them. And, you know, like, again, like, Star Trek is like an adventure, and yeah, and space, and I've actually not watched a lot of Star Trek. I want to apologise for that. I've never been a massive Star Trek fan, but I can still appreciate that it's adventure, it's drama, it's space stuff, but it, like, had these times and storylines and moments that really, really were poignant and stuck with people. And clearly helped people through really hard times. And people in the comments were like commenting other things, other shows and other quotes that really, really pulled them out of difficult times. And I thought, that's lovely. And that would be my dream, that I would one day make something that people went to when they were low, or when they're not, which is just in general, but and there were times when, you know, a bit of dialogue I wrote or a bit of writing I wrote, like, really, I don't know, helped them or made them feel better in that moment. I think I was reminded that that has a lot of value, because sometimes you do forget that as an artist. I think you forget that what you do can help people in some way, because I think I was feeling really like I wasn't helping anyone at all, in any way. So yeah. So I was reminded of how much I love an adventure, you know, in my life, in stories, and that I want to write adventures. I mean, Toast in the Machine can definitely have adventure elements, but it is a bit more chill at the moment. But the idea is that that can go in loads of directions. But yeah, it would be fun to write like an adventure or something. I love an adventure. I was thinking of actually calling my new vlogs like adventures in comic making and kind of reframing it like that. I don't know, what do you think of that? I don't know if that's like too simple or just right, I don't know. Because I feel like I am on an adventure. I'm on an adventure of learning and of exploring nature and trying to get better at comics. It is an adventure in ways. So I'm just going to use white pieces of paper for the inner bits, I think. So I'm going to place this one down. It's actually quite hard to do the inner papers because, like, the paper you're sticking down can be quite thin and it's quite hard for it to hold the glue. The A4 one has been quite hard to make actually, so I'm glad I haven't committed to making this for the shop much. It's actually really hard. I think because it's bigger, there's more that's got to stick down smoothly. The A6 are really nice to make because they're just neater. They're really easy to get really neat. Not easy, but easier. They're a neat little size as well. I think A6 is a really sweet little size for like a traveller's notebook or a sketchbook. You know, there's all sorts you could fit in there. Little tickets from when you've gone, you know, to a museum or something. Things like that. Yeah, after this, it's going to be drying time, because I've got to wait for the other one to dry. So that's probably the most I'm going to have done today. This is the thing with these sketchbooks, like they're kind of little bits at a time. Ooh, I'm feeling a bit tired now. This is about it. I'll need a little break now probably because I can manage a while and then I need a bit of a time to breathe. It's quite warm in my house today as well. I think the heating's blasting a bit. And I shut the window a bit because the street noise is really loud. It drives me, you know, to distraction it does, the street noise. But I like having air, so. So yeah, what Halloweeny films are you going to watch? Anything? Or like TV shows? I would want to mention, I think The Old Little Vampire is an underrated classic. Which was a film that came out when I was a kid, and the kid from Stuart Little was in it. I don't know, I get quite emotional when I watch it. I find the ending really, really beautiful. I don't know, it really hits me. So yeah, that's another that I think not a lot of people know about, or they've forgotten about it. And I do think it stands the test of time, but it might be nostalgia for me. But if you don't know, it's about a little kid who moves to England and he meets another kid who's a vampire kid. And like, it's like a family of vampires. And they're cursed to be vampires. And he's basically trying to help him to break the curse. And it's all about that. And one of the girls from the Chronicles of Narnia, the films, is in it. When she's young. And they do this really cool like whistling. I remember when I was a kid, they do this like haunting whistling to like communicate with each other. And when I was a kid, I really tried to learn how to whistle properly because I was like, that's so pretty. And I couldn't. So yeah, that's a good one. I also feel like, even though I'm watching Merlin, Doctor Who's quite a good watch at Halloween because obviously it has some spooky aspects. But I can't watch both of those at the same time. It's too much. And it's not actually been that long since I rewatched Doctor Who. And I'm a bit like... I'm not a huge fan of the recent Doctor Who. I really wanted to like it. I really did. Because I really like the main actor, but it's lost me a bit, I think. And I really, really tried. Because I love Doctor Who and I always try and give the new series a chance. But I'm just finding the writing really hard to... I think the writing's really struggling at the moment. And I will say, like, I watch a lot of TV and a lot of series. Watch all kinds of things and read things. I always think I really dislike, because I'm in quite a lot of like fandoms. I love online fandoms, but like quite a lot of like criticisms that annoy me is when people go like, oh, I don't know anyone likes this, it's just really boring. And I'm like, well, maybe you find it boring because it's just not the kind of thing you're interested in. It's like, for example, a plot that I'm not a fan of, business rivalry. When stuff's about business rivalry, like, it has to have a lot of other stuff going on. But if, like, the business rivalry is the main plot, I'm out. Like, I just really struggle with it. It could be the best people acting it in the world. It could be the best filmed beautifully. I just struggle with it. I'm not interested. I'm also, like, not interested in, like, I don't know, rich people, really, really rich people's lives or something. Like, not interested. You know, it's like, do you know what I mean? So it's like, and there's certain genres that I'm more picky on than others. Like, period drama has to be very specific to win me over. Like, I love Anne with an E, I love the recent Little Women, you know, but I don't like the Pride and Prejudice series. I'm so sorry. But I've never loved Pride and Prejudice. I don't get it. I always watch it and I'm like, am I missing something? What is it? I just don't understand this. The appeal of this. But it's not like I disparage anyone for liking it. I think that's the difference. That was the point I was going to make. I apologise, you know what I'm like on these calls, I get really like all over the place with my brain. But like, what I'm saying is it really frustrates me when people criticise things like, categorically, this is really boring, or I'm so sick of shows like this or something. And it's like, but it's your taste. Like, if you're going to put in the comment like, oh, I felt the pacing was a bit off at the beginning, it definitely could have been, like, I feel like it made it really slow when actually it could have been a lot better. That is to me, a fair critique. Like, that's a fair critique. Saying, oh, I really dislike period dramas, they're so boring, I don't know why anyone would watch this. That's just rude. You know, that's just, you don't like it, so you don't understand why anyone else likes it. Like, I do not disparage anyone loving Pride and Prejudice. Like, enjoy yourselves. And actually, I don't mind the one, there is one version of it I don't mind. It could be the one with zombies in it though, to be honest. But yeah, like, I really dislike that in fandom spaces where people are like, I don't like this thing, and so I'm going to be really rude about anyone that does. It really bothers me. That's just a pet peeve of mine. I've got a bit of an annoying gap here, but again, it is just for me. I think I'm going to put the punches on this side for this one because I often work like landscape on A4 pages, so, and I don't mind having to turn it and stuff. The idea is that I can like make this really full of my loose pages and keep them all. I just really dislike like having loads of, I will still obviously have sketchbooks, like, but I really dislike the fact that, you know, sketchbooks, you go through them and you end up like maybe half of it you want to refer back to, but like it's stuck in the sketchbook and they're all different sizes and it just annoys me. So I like that, I like refillable options. That's just my atmosphere. I don't think that's the right word. I didn't think this is where this conversation would go, but I just wanted to call and check in really and say hello, because as I said, I just feel like we haven't spoken in ages, and I was in a bit of a chatty mood, as you may be able to tell. And I've been able to do my next stage in my sketchbook, so thank you for keeping me company, and yeah, I hope to get back to drawing more soon, when I can. I mean, glue in the way. So yeah, I think that I will leave you to it now, because it's been quite a long call, hasn't it? So yeah, it was so nice to speak to you, and I hope we can call again another time. Thanks so much. Okay, bye! So hello, just to add on at the end of this, thank you for watching, and this was like a little bit of a different format video that I thought would be helpful to do in between my more like planned out vlogs, and it's a bit easier for me at the moment because I can't edit very much. This was actually an idea from my friend Patrick. Patrick is like my pen pal from Brazil, and after watching one of my previous videos, he was like, you could actually kind of make it feel even more so like we're like on a call with you, like it's a friend calling someone. And I thought that was a really cool idea, especially because I'm quite a fan of ASMR videos, and I quite like the kind of like slightly roleplay ones where it's kind of like we're chatting or whatever, and I thought it could kind of be a bit like that without me actually doing ASMR, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but you know what I mean. It was like kind of that atmosphere of like calling a friend. I thought that was a really nice idea. So let me know, what did you think? Is this something, a kind of video you'd like to see again? And yeah, in general, just thanks for watching and for supporting me and for being patient while I've not been able to do much. Thank you so much. And just to say as well, like all the stuff I said was genuine, apart from the little bits of play acting where I said how are you and all that. Like it was all my genuine life. So yeah, thanks so much. Shop's still open. My battery is about to run out, so I've got to be quick. Thanks so much, and hopefully see you next time. Okay, goodbye.